Hi guys, and welcome to Chengi's World. Again, I'm still sitting in my car, and soon I'll be out of here because it's getting really cold. Oh, where is the British summer? I've been waiting too long. I'm freezing. But I wanted to talk to you guys and just make one more video, and this one is something that's really close to my heart, and I'm hoping to nail this and be done in the next 15 minutes. But before I do, guys, make sure you subscribe. If you like this video, make sure you like and comment, and if it's your first time here in Chengi's World, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. I love you guys, and it's gonna be one hell of a party. And so today's topic is going to be about single motherhood, boo. Okay, so dating as a single mom is a very interesting thing. I was at a party once a few years back. I went with a girlfriend of mine to party in the city, and she was sort of reviewing it with a guy friend of hers who worked with her, and she said to him, "So how did you find the party?" He said, "Oh, it was just full of baby mamas." And at the time, my friend who he was talking to happened to be a banker as well, said, "Well, you happen to be talking to one of those baby mamas." And in his mind, he hadn't quite figured out what he was saying. I bet he felt really bad, but it really was telling of the mindset and the mentality that single moms have to endure in the dating scene. This is how it is. This is how it kind of works societally. You've got your married woman with children, okay? She's top of the food chain, boo. You know, she gets the respect, she gets the love, she gets to walk into the room, and I thank God, because I used to be that girl, okay? I was the married girl with the kid and the family and the car and the houses. I was that married woman, and yes, there's a lot of respect and a lot of dignity to go with that. There is a lot of respect and a lot of honor that goes with being Mrs. and having children, and you have the perfect little family. And then of course there is the woman who is married but with no kids. She's a little bit just under married with kids. And then there's the woman who is single, young and single, around the age where it's okay for you to be single because you're still young. She's there. And then there's the older single woman, you're kind of going towards spinsterhood, but you know what, we can work with that. You're fourth in the food chain. And then you've got your baby mama. You got your single mother, okay? But even in there's a little bit of a ranking going on, because number 5 on the rank is is the single mom who has one father. Okay, then you've got at the bottom, number 5 is the single mom with different dads. Okay, so but nevertheless, let's just bundle up all the single moms and put them down. You see, the single mom is the one that everybody looks down their nose at. I know this because when I was on the top of the rank, I think single moms, really, they're the cause of all social problems. I mean, surely, I wasn't that bad, but I was in amongst people who just felt that single moms, poor things, they don't really contribute much. They take more than they contribute. And of course there's a single mom with loads of money. She gets to be up there with the tops, because you know what, if you're single, if you got money, pretty much all the rules, all bets are off. You get to define who you are. But at the bottom was the single mama. Nobody cares if you're single because you're widowed. Nobody cares if you're single because actually you're divorced. Somebody married you once and it didn't work out. Nobody cares if you just had a one-night stand. Nobody cares if the fact that you're a single mom, you may have been raped, molested, and it was out of your choice. Nobody cares about your story. You're a single mom and a burden on society. And that is not the gospel, absolute truth. It's just perceptions. And we get to tell our own narrative, ladies. I used to really kind of believe that ranking was true for me. But I realized very early on that I get to decide who I am and what I am. And it starts off first for you girls who are single and dating, is you need to come out of the single mom, baby mama mindset and the place that society places you, and the connotations you put to that, and begin to define yourself. I remember I used to sort of call myself a divorcee, and I'm just a divorcee and a single mom. And what that means, single mom denotes, broke, busted, disgusted, no idea, poor thing, miserable, some man's doing her in, and she'll just take anything she's given, and any man that winks and comes her way he'll get a look in. But I decided that actually I'm not a single mom or divorcee. I am a woman, okay, in all of my glory, baby. And then with that, I am a woman with a child. I am a woman raising a child without his father physically present every day, but he has a relationship with his dad, and I facilitate that very well. I am a woman who lives alone with her child. I am a woman with a business, and I am a woman who has been married and is now divorced. But I am a woman. I am a woman in all of my glory, and with all of what that means, and with all of what that contains. It doesn't matter where on the ranking you are a woman. And with that, you are born with royalty and majesty. You are born to rule and reign. You're born to influence society. You're born with gifts. And whenever we add or redefine ourselves as anything other than woman, and with all of his glory, and perhaps we shall explore that more so. What is it to be woman? Because oh my gosh, we're gonna go into what it is to be woman, because I think there's so many of us women who have no idea what it means to spiritually be a woman, the power of being a woman, the influence of being a woman, the purpose of being a woman. We have no idea. So I will, by God's grace, be able to delve into that with you and really explore that. Because when you are a woman first, then nothing should shift, and then your narrative is different. You get to tell your story. I was listening to a TED talk from a Nigerian lady. I'll probably put the link in this video, and she's talking about the single story. You don't have to follow that prototype. You don't have to be that stereotype. You don't have to be that single story. Now, are there social and economic factors that affect the single moms? Absolutely. I had to go from a two-income household to running a same and similar and providing a similar lifestyle to my son on one income, which meant that I had to do a lot more and be a lot more innovative and creative about how I would make up for that second income. Because unlike some single moms, I was not eligible for any kind of government help, because whilst I was married, I accumulated a lot of property. I accumulated some property, and I had assets which disqualified me. But though I was not able to access them to live day to day, I was not one of these women who were privileged to be looked after and have the accommodation paid for. I'd had to do everything myself. And at that time, I was really bitter, because I thought, how can some single moms stay at home and be able to be mom, and I have to work my butt off? But I thank God every day that I never felt that was not my narrative, and I didn't fall into the system. And because of that, I had to be innovative, I had to be entrepreneurial, I had to be creative, and I had to become the best and better version of myself in order to survive and to be able to provide the lifestyle for my son that I was able to provide in a couple as a single mom. And he has a really decent lifestyle. He has anything, most of the things that he needs and wants, but it comes obviously a little bit more effort. But it meant that I had to grow and become a better version of myself, and become smarter and become more. So even our struggles as single moms, instead of reflecting on them and thinking, because here's the thing, because some men are cognitive of the general issues that single moms go through, oh my gosh, we become primary prey. You know, when you're out in the wild, predators don't want to put in too much work. They don't want to go for the animal that is inside the herd. They're gonna go for those that are in the periphery, the ones that are wounded or walking slowly, the babies, the vulnerable, the ones on the outskirts. And single moms, for those of you who are not single moms and watching this, I'm hoping it's going to educate you, but single moms are very vulnerable. They're extremely vulnerable, and not only are they vulnerable in themselves, but they're vulnerable because they have to look after the young, and that is usually the job of the male in the herd, to bring protection. So she has to be male and female, but because she is, you know, female, she's extremely vulnerable. Single moms are possibly the most vulnerable people in our communities, because they're raising the young all by themselves. And unfortunately, we attract predators. We attract men who don't want to make an effort. I remember once, I had a friend who needed help with something, and he said to me, look, Chengi, let me just keep it real with you. You've got this lovely house, you've got a car, you have your life going, and I'm going to tell you this, men are going to come, look at what you've built, and they're going to think to themselves, why can't I join that party? And a lot of what happens, and I've got a lot of single mom friends, and I can't tell you how many men, because a single mom has to create a life and a home, I can't tell you how many of these relationships my friends get into where the man is just being another child. He just sees a really great setup. There's a house here, it's cozy, there'll always be food because she's got to feed her kid, there'll always be electricity because she's got to keep the kid warm, and she's been doing it without me, so I can join this party and just become part of the party. So this is not all men mind. There's some great guys out there who want to help and be just princes, and I really want to in my videos let you know that there's some decent amazing men out there who don't look at single moms as prey, but unfortunately they are the minority, not the majority. The majority is, as a single mom, you've got to be particularly careful because you are vulnerable, you are tired, you are exhausted. Every mom on the planet is exhausted, but I want you, if you are a mom with a husband who helps, to understand that the single mom living next door, she is twice as exhausted because she doesn't have a moment emotionally, mentally, or spiritually where she can say, baby, can you just take him out for the day? You know, I have to be my son's entertainment, my son's mentor, my son's educator, my son's cook, my son's provider. I have to be all things to him, and there's no one to say, look, can you just, you know, so I can get some quiet time. If I need to go somewhere, I have to take him with me or pay for childcare, which just gets expensive. So, you know, we are tired, and therefore our ability to discern and to put value on ourselves, our ability to put that high value on ourselves begins to dissipate because we are literally exhausted. We're that person on the periphery, always subject to predators. So if you're dating as a single mom, you also have to avoid pedophiles. You know, we're prime target for pedophiles. They know that, you know, I tell you what, one thing about me is I'm very protective over my son. And put the light on. I just don't even have the time of day. And what men don't really understand is if you're gonna come and try and talk to me through my son and be like, hey son, look, my son has to like you. There's no two ways about it, okay? He's got to like you, or he's got to have a rapport with you at the very least. But don't, he doesn't call the shots here. And I'm always wary when a man tries to win me over by approaching my son or trying to, you know, for me it's a complete, you know, I had a scenario the other day where this guy said to me, what's your son, and I was like, he's over there. And he was like, where is he? I was like, he's over there. And he, you know, he made a beeline to my son. Hello, son. And I'm thinking, my son is as smart as his mom. Like, that boy is 11 turning 40, okay? He is so insightful. He can read through people. And, you know, he's his mother's son. And he was just like, What do you want? He knows exactly what he wants. But I thought to myself, you know what? You've just got a 0 for that. You got no. No. Okay, so I don't really buy into any of that nonsense. I always think, well, you need to have a relationship with me first, and then that relationship, therefore, I will decide the depth of your relationship with my son, not the other way around. And I just thought, okay, so you totally, like, you're out, sorry, bye. And I knew what he was doing, because so many men do it. And we've got to be very careful. And until you're high value, and I've done a video this week on high value, and you guys can watch that, until you start to place value in yourself as a woman, like I said in the beginning, and stop being a single mom with a story to tell. Another thing is, stop telling your stories, stop telling your sob stories, stop telling your baby daddy stories. I met someone once, and he said to me, why did you get divorced? I was like, dude, I don't know you well enough for me to share that information with you. And he was very gracious, and he took it on board. But again, men who are predatory in nature want to hear your sob story. They don't want to know who you are as a woman. I am not interested in somebody who wants to know what went wrong. I'm interested in somebody who wants to know what makes me tick. Okay, what makes me tick? What makes this woman tick? What makes her special beyond the way she looks? What makes her special beyond my physical attraction to her? I'm not interested in and I used to be, when I started dating, I used to be, oh, then what happened was, and then this is what happened. And guess what? They use that information against you in the future. They do. I'm not that guy. I'm not your ex. Stop trying to compare me with my ex and your ex, because guess what? Whatever the ex did is always going to be worse than what he thinks. So for me, I don't really talk about what happened with the ex until I have discovered enough about you and have enough data about you to decide whether I need you in my life or not. And you've shown me sufficient interest in who I am and what makes me tick. So it's really very important as single women to get our finances right, first and foremost. Get it together, live the life that you can afford. Don't want more, just because everything's about keeping your value as a woman and constantly being high value. Don't let men use your children to get to your heart. Protect your children from those men, and by all means introduce your children to the new guy sooner rather than later, like Steve Harvey says, because at the end of the day, by the time you've hearts are invested and now he doesn't like the new guy and the new guy doesn't like him, then you're kind of screwed. Okay, so you want to have that. My son is very emotionally intelligent. I talk to him and discuss everything with him, so he would understand, and he's very emotionally intelligent. And I would only ever introduce a man into his life that I found that I thought was worthy and worthwhile for me, and that I thought would be good enough for him to meet. But of course, sometimes you meet when you're around. So I want to say to you girls that are single and those that are watching on, you are a woman first, and the fact that you're single should not allow you to lower your standards, should not make you unaware of the dangers and how you have to be particularly careful about how you are perceived, and that it doesn't mean that anybody has to write your narrative. That being a single mom, you deserve to be loved. You deserve to meet an amazing man who cares about you and who can love your children. You deserve the very best, and you're not disqualified no matter what society thinks. And that the social narrative doesn't have to be yours. You don't have to be a baby mama. You don't have to bring drama into your ex's life with his new woman. Like, keep it moving, get a life. You don't have to keep being in his business. It's over. Okay, you don't need to be the stereotype. You can be a high value, classy mom raising a child, a woman raising a child on your own, and you can do that with grace. You can do that with ease. Not necessarily with ease, but you can do that with grace, and you can do that with class. And you deserve, therefore, to meet a high value guy. So guys, I hope this was helpful for you single moms. My heart is for you, and I want to see you guys get the very best out there and not disqualify yourselves. I always say The difference between the women is that some got caught and some didn't, but that's another video. I just want to say thank you so much for watching and for tuning in. I love you lots, and take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon in my next video. Take care now. Mwah.